Hello everybody and welcome back to Weather Okie. It is January 25th and today we are going to start off by looking at the radar for today. Already we can see quite the cloud coverage already starting off inside the west, starting off and bringing that very high winds into Los Angeles areas and just really parts of California just sparking off those fires and keeping it rolling. As for the parts of like the Midwest and just really the South, most of it is clear, but there is a little bit of cloud coverage going on right now. That this weather pattern is going to be strengthening, and we can see that as we just move on. There's going to be a lot of things to be talking about as we go through the coming weeks. February, yes, it will be about average and above average, but there will be those times where we are going to get quite the cold front and quite the Arctic air to enter the United States, and that can cause very big storms, including some snowstorms into these parts in the northeast, and of course into parts of the panhandle of Oklahoma and parts of Texas as well. So for the day one outlook, we can see that there is a lot of thunderstorms going to be possible inside of these areas here. Parts of California are going to get the relief from these rain showers that are going to be coming through for the next few days. And just looking forward, we can see that they will have a lot of their fires being able to put out with this. They are going to get quite a lot of rain as we see in this model. As we can see, parts of California are going to get pretty good amounts of rain through tomorrow. This ends on February 3rd. They are going to get pretty high amounts. Some areas getting 2 inches. This is these listed areas in the red. The other areas are going to get about 1 inch or less, but that is enough to put out these wildfires that are moving on in parts of Los Angeles and of course parts of San Diego. Now this is a short model that we're going to look at, but this is the supercell possibility model that as we move forward with today, we can see that there is some possibilities inside of Texas for some supercells. Just going forward, we can see that risk does seem to fade by the end of today, and there will be barely any risk as we move forward. Now, as for the pattern change, we can see that inside of California, we do have a little bit of a dip in the jet stream, so bringing those low-level winds. And we can see that really there is quite the calm weather pattern. This flow does keep the relative winter outlook and the thunderstorms and all that keeps it really low. But as we move forward, we can see that tomorrow we have a low pressure system starting up inside of California, and that is going to move forward as we continue the model. And this is going to be a multi-day outlook. Starting off with the 28th, we can see that a low pressure system is going to bring this big boundary into the northeast. This is going to bring some possible blizzards and winter storms as we move forward. And this low pressure system is still sitting there inside of California, barely moving, but it is going to speed up. And we can see once again this Arctic air is starting to flow once again into the parts of the northeast, going to keep the temperatures relatively cold as the low pressure system does continue to just stick around inside of parts of Arizona. But now on the 31st, we can see that there is a new little bit of a flow through the United States. We can see this up and down motion as we have this low pressure system finally moving through, bringing some pretty high winds and can bring some pretty good winter storms as we move through into the 31st. And that, as this model shows, we can see that the low pressure system does end up here, which could mean that this could be the flow for the winter storm about through Oklahoma and Texas into the parts of the Ohio Valley. Now this is through the GFS model. And moving through into the second, this is pretty far, so do not have your hopes up. But as we move forward into the fourth, we can see another low pressure system bringing another flow that could bring another winter storm into the United States. But this is very far out, so we're just gonna focus on what we have closer to us and just make sure you guys do subscribe so you can get these updates out for these future storms to come. Now moving forward, we can see that we have a little bit of cold in the United States, but there is some relief on the way as we have this low pressure system sitting inside of California. This is going to allow a bunch of warm air to come down to the United States through Canada in the coming weeks. We're going to all be above or a little bit at average in most of the United States. As soon as that low pressure system does end up making its way on the 30th and 31st, we can see a major cool down moving through, and we can see that trend continue to go as we get that cold front from it. These parts in the north are going to get their relief due to the low pressure system, while as parts of Oklahoma and Texas are going to get a little bit below their average, but going to be basically staying there. And continuing on the first, we can see that everybody is going to stay relatively warm, and really warm that is starting on to the second. Most of the north and south and midwest all going to be pretty much above average. Now, this is far away, so do not have your hopes up yet. But then we do see another cold ridge bringing it up onto the fourth, bringing this interesting form that could bring some severe storms as we move forward with this model. So just finishing up, we can see that starting off today, we have a little bit of rain moving through the United States, just popping off a little bit, getting some much needed rain in parts. And of course, the rain inside of California, we will also point out. And continuing on with today, we do see that that rain will stick around and become pretty severe. And continuing on, that does seem to trend inside the south, and in the northeast we can see that low pressure system start to make that blizzard snow and what could cause these winter storm warnings as we move forward into the 26th and 27th. And we can see quite the boundary moving that storm forward. And once again, another little bit of precipitation inside the Midwest, bringing some more showers and storms as the Northeast does get there more snow. So just continuing on, we do see that this is about when the low pressure system hits. We see that New Mexico snow and mix, and in the south we do see that really big severe storm popping off. Moving forward, we can see that this is expected to go through Oklahoma as well as Texas and continue to bring that winter storm into parts of Colorado and New Mexico still. The storm does move forward into Kansas, into more parts of Colorado, making this huge line of storms going through Louisiana and Arkansas into the coming days. And that's really going to stay there until this storm ends up going off inside of parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. And this storm is going to be continually flowing, and there is going to be a trend where the storm does look to repeat itself right here onto the second and third, starting off with some more convection and rain, but now inside the Ohio Valley, before finally on the end of our model getting a little bit of that rain precipitation mix that we are looking for as we have some more storms going through Kentucky and Tennessee and other parts of the country. So if you guys want more updates like this, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you put on notifications and just continue coming back and watching more videos and making sure that I can just continue my journey and growth. And just thank you all for continuing to be back. See you guys next video.